They
Yeah,
should do
yeah,
more
you're,
with it because, to be honest, like even making them, because you're often co-producing productions with somebody else, and
mm,
it's a lot easier sometimes to work with someone, a member of the public who comes to you with their story as opposed to working with another kind of experienced journalist who has really kind of
a
strong
big
ideas.
vision about what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so just before we go, Robert, the podcast medium has, it's just getting bigger and bigger, and people are in their houses like myself putting little podcasts together. Have you any advice to people out there and how to, how to push their podcast, and advice on interviewing people or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, like I was very lucky because I'd still see myself on as like kind of a print journalist. Like even though we've talked like for podcasts, and that's really, you know, the I've been lucky enough to work on podcasts that have kind of had some success and have been kind of well received and stuff as part of teams. But like I did. I'd get sometimes I can get as much joy out of doing a piece for the Leinster Leader that gets well received there, or you feel like you've done a piece of work that somebody enjoys, because I suppose your work, like it's who you're making stuff for, it's who you're making the podcast for, it's or who you're kind of writing a column for.
Mm.
Um, so I do miss kind of writing at the moment because I've just kind of moved into podcasts now full time, which is great. But I do miss doing the Leinster Leader column because I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I used to spend a lot of time on it. But
Well, they still have the same number, Robert, I think.
huh?
I think they still have the same number.
Oh no, well, I mean, at some
Or you
point in
could
the
fax
future,
them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. At some point in the future, now, hopefully, I get some free time. I think the thing with these podcast series, they just become enormous projects. I suppose
Yeah.
they're probably akin to kind of writing a book.
I think
Uh,
I can imagine that you're probably you're jealous of some of the likes of myself who can sit here and do it in their own time and put their little podcast together, throw it out, and see what happens, as opposed to you having this expectation and big productions behind you and stuff like that.
yeah, listen, there's nothing to be given out about. At the end of the day, you're getting to make these pieces, and it's not a job. You know, really, to be kind of doing this work. It's just
It's your
there's a lot of
passion.
time goes into them. But I think I was a print journalist. Just to go back and answer your question, it was when I was with the Irish Post, and I listened to a doc on one, and I heard that kind of call at the end saying, if you think you have a story, kind of
Mm.
send one in. And there was a story in London of an Irish guy, publican Ambrose Gordon, who was kind of bootlegging the Sunday game in London.
Okay, I heard that. I think, yeah.
And I kind of sent that idea into RT, and
Did you?
then
Yeah.
they kind of said they liked the idea. They sent one of their producers to London, and he kind of showed me how to use a recording microphone,
Brilliant.
and just
It's
kind of
it's
got
it's
me
lovely that
going.
it happened organic for you too. It wasn't something you planned specifically, and it would just happen by
Yeah.
itself.
And then once I kind of was involved in one, I kind of kept pitching them ideas, and so I just think, yeah, I mean, um, RT, like if people enjoy the doc on one, there's a forum there to pitch ideas, and like
Yeah, brilliant.
um, and any kind of podcast. I think stuff that's kind of niche is, goes down quite well because um, you can be kind of an authority on your subject. Whether, like, I see someone in London, like the British Museum, have a podcast
Right.
where like each episode is just about an item in the museum. It might
Wow.
just be 15 minutes, but
Yeah.
and I think stuff like that is a great idea.
Yeah.
But
It's
obviously,
an ever changing medium, isn't it? Really.
yeah, yeah, and similar to your own, like Kildare Lives, like I think it's a great idea as well.
Kildare speaks.
Kildare Speaks.
That's the one, and you're speaking now. Listen, at the end of most interviews, and I keep forgetting to do it, is to ask people a question, the same question. Where were you in 1998 when Kildare were playing Galway in the All Ireland final?
I was on, I was on Hill 16. Um,
Same as
yeah,
myself.
and I was lucky enough to be there for um, yeah, I was on the hill for most of the championship matches that summer, actually.
Wow. When is RTE going to do a documentary on that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I'd love to kind of revisit maybe at some stage when I get a bit of time. I had a conversation with somebody during the summer about some of the players, like even guys like Niall Buckley, who, you know, living outside of Ireland now.
Is
And
he in America now?
I think he's in America. Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's. And I'd love at some point to kind of maybe go back and try and do something
Yeah.
Kildare podcast 98 or
Yeah. It's
I
definitely
don't.
the material is there because it was such a big moment and such a big letdown at the end.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were just fantastic summers, despite the kind of outcome. Even the previous summer '97, the trilogy with Mead,
Yeah,
like
amazing stuff. You know, I mean, we
it was
just took it for granted back then
just
because we're at the top flight, but could do with it now.
yeah. It was just yeah, such a great time.
Listen, Robert, our coverage is getting a little bit weak, so we better say slán. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. And I'm really looking forward to your future work, whether it's in a book or in a newspaper or on one of the brilliant podcasts that you do. So thanks so much.
Listen, thanks a million for having me on, and I wish you the best of luck with your show.
Thank you, Robert.
Rosie was born by the roadside, somewhere in County Kildare. I think it's all over. It is, and Kildare are the champions. Champions for the first time in 42 years. And it's the red I will repair. To the Cora of Kildare.
Kildare Speaks with Fia Rua.